All right, so welcome everybody. Good to see you guys. I think we have a couple more joining us, so there might be some folks rolling in a little late, but I think we're okay to go ahead and get started here. So I hope you guys are doing all right with the smell. We've got the air purifier going and the fans going, so hopefully it'll clear it out. But we could open up the door at the back too. Yeah, because then we might get a little bit of a cross flow. Let's try that too. Don't want anybody leaving yoga feeling worse than when they came in. So there we go. Now, of course, we're getting a bit of that Hawaiian barbecue smell, but that's supposedly healthier. So, and if that becomes bothersome, I mean, definitely feel free to pull the door if that's not working, but we'll go with that for now. There you go. You've got a nice little sunbeam for your practice. Excellent. So great. So my name is Meredith. This is a moderate mindful flow. So what I take moderate to mean is we'll be doing a vinyasa style practice, but for each of the poses, I'll offer some different versions. There'll be some different options for you to explore. So I really encourage you to do what feels good in your own body and just find the version of the pose that works for you today. And if that's taking a break and coming to a child's pose, that's all good too. So whatever you need, find that for yourself today. We're going to get started a little bit differently, just as an offering. I'm going to be starting out in hero's pose, where we sit up on the knees. If you still prefer to start in your Sukhasana, cross-legged, you're absolutely welcome to. This is just a different option, a little variability there, and it can feel good, to have a block right under your hips there. Give yourself a little more weight. Sometimes I find hero's pose gives us easier access to that nice straight spine. So perhaps just beginning to find an upright seat here. You can think of lowering your chin slightly towards your chest, lengthening out the back of the neck. And then as you're ready, we'll go ahead and find a soft gaze or close the eyes. We'll just take a moment or two here to settle into the room, arriving in the space together here. There's an opportunity to take whatever we might have had going on earlier in the day, whatever we might have ahead of us this evening or later in the week, and we're just going to file all that under not now. And we'll just focus on being present together for the next 60 minutes. And begin to check in with your body. Be noticing if there's any sensations arising. You're feeling a little cool or some warmth. Maybe you're noticing some stiffness somewhere or tingling. Just kind of taking stock, taking an inventory of what we're starting with today. And you can begin to bring some awareness now to the breath. Perhaps noticing the next inhale, and noticing the next exhale. Maybe just intentionally beginning to lengthen each breath just a little bit here, beginning to deepen each inhale and extend each exhale. Maybe noticing that natural kind of sensation of settling or arriving, that just bringing this intentionality to our breath can bring us. Throughout my classes this month, we're working with the theme or idea of tapas. So tapas is the Sanskrit term that means inner fire or discipline. This is also one of our niyamas in yogic philosophy. And essentially, it's the seat of our will. It's that inner fire through which we can bring transformation to the self, to which we can find the discipline and the will to create the change in our lives. Or maybe there's an intention around this you'd like to set for yourself, perhaps there's something you're working on where having a little more discipline, a little more fire may help you where you're going. So perhaps just bringing something to mind around that there. And then bringing your attention back to your breath. And we'll take a couple of deep breaths here together to begin our practice. So let's exhale to begin. And then we'll take a big deep inhale through the nose. And a big soft exhale through the mouth. Another one just like that, inhaling through the nose, filling your belly, lungs, all the way up to the shoulders. And then big exhale, release. Let all that go. One more just like that with your own breath. So inhaling through the nose, deepest breath yet, filling all the way to the top. And then slow exhale, release. All the way to the bottom of the exhale, maybe squeezing the belly, get rid of the last little bit of air at the end, and then we'll just seal the lips and continue naturally breathing in and out through the nose. If you like, you can bring a slight constriction to the back of the throat to turn on that audible or ujjayi breathing here. Just before you open your eyes, resting here for a moment, I'll be offering hands-on modifications today. If that's something you're not comfortable with, go ahead and give me a little wave now. And otherwise, I assume that's something you're okay with. Beautiful. And as you're ready with the next inhale, we'll gradually open the eyes. You can just rub your palms along the tops of your thighs, bringing a little bit of sensation in there. Beautiful. And from here, we'll take an inhale, arms come out to the side. You can spread your fingertips out wide. Perhaps your gaze follows your hands to the ceiling. And then slow exhale, gathering your hands towards heart center, Samasthiti. Beautiful. And just go ahead and release the backs of your hands down on your thighs so our palms face up. So we're going to explore a mudra here today called the Garuda Mudra. So to do that, we're going to bring the left hand up about 6 inches in front of the heart. And then the right hand comes up behind it. So the back of the palm is into the right palm, and we bring the thumbs together. So we're making almost an eagle shape here. So Garuda was the eagle of the Ramayana. And this is just a mudra that reminds us to find this inner will or this inner fire. So with the next inhale, go ahead and bring your hands or your mudra here to heart center. And then we'll just take a big, deep inhale here through the nose. Big exhale out through the nose. And then softly releasing that. We're going to switch hands now. So we can bring both hands down and then right hand up in front of the heart. Left hand comes up behind it, connecting those thumbs. You can even feel a little bit of pressure between the tips of the thumbs here. And then we'll inhale, bringing that mudra in towards heart center. And exhale. And just release, let that go. From here, we're going to go ahead and make our way slowly into a tabletop position. So we'll come onto all fours. Your knees are hip width apart. You can have your toes untucked, tops of the feet flat on the floor. Your hands are beneath the shoulders. And again, maybe spreading the fingers out wide here, help to spread the weight all through the base of the palm. Nice neutral spine to start. And then we'll do a series of cat-cow. So starting moving into cow pose, lower your belly, lift your heart, lift your hips, lift your gaze. And then with an exhale, we're round the whole spine in and up. So tucking chin to chest, tucking tailbone under. And then slowly inhaling back to cow. And exhale, rounding into cat, pressing the mat away. A couple more like this, just moving with your own breath here. Last one. And as you complete that, we'll return to a neutral spine in the center. Grounding down through your right palm here. With an inhale, we'll extend the left arm long towards the front of the room. Thumb is pointing up towards the ceiling. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and inhale, extend the right leg back, pressing back through the right heel. That leg can be lifted off the ground entirely. If you need a little more stability, you can touch your toes down to the mat too. Otherwise, we'll take a big inhale here. Feel your heel press away, fingers reaching forward. And then with an exhale, we're going to curl the elbow to knee under the body. So rounding the back like we do in cat pose as we curl it in. And inhale to re-extend long, reaching in opposite directions. And exhale to curl it in. Last one, inhale, reach. And exhale, curl. Beautiful. Go ahead and extend one more time, reaching out, but this time we're going to lower the left hand down to the mat. Right foot crosses over behind us on the mat. So right foot comes over to the left, looking back over your left shoulder. So finding a nice twist here, lengthening down the right side of the body. And even think about pressing back slightly into your toes, maybe engaging your calf muscle here in a nice stretch. And then we'll slowly make our way back to a tabletop position. We're going to bring the toes together to touch. Take your knees out to the width of the mat. Sit your hips back all the way. We'll move into Balasana, or child's pose. So arms are reaching forward. You can just relax your forehead down on the mat. We'll take one big breath here. Inhale, feel your belly fill, pressing against the inside of your thighs. Exhale here to soften. And then we'll slowly rock ourselves back up to a tabletop. Neutral spine, knees below the hips, hands below the shoulders. And once you find a nice stable base here, we'll take that to the other side. So this time we'll inhale, right arm reaches forward, thumb face up. And left leg extends back. Beautiful. Big inhale, reaching in opposite directions here. And with an exhale, curling your elbow to knee under the body. And inhale to re-extend. Exhale, curl. You can think about energetically drawing your left hand and right knee towards each other, almost like you're trying to wrinkle up your mat, just to give some extra core stability here. One more set here. Exhale to curl. Inhale to extend. And then we'll lower the right hand down, left foot crosses over behind, looking back over the right shoulder this time. Couple of slow breaths here. Maybe finding that calf stretch here as well. And then we'll slowly come back to our tabletop. Toes together, knees out wide. We'll take another round of child's pose. So hips back towards your heels, arms reaching forward. Perhaps finding a more active stretch through the arms this time, maybe curling into the fingertips a little. Activating the underside of the arms, lengthening through the sides of the rib cage. Another breath here. And then once more, pressing ourselves back up to tabletop, coming onto all fours. From here, we're going to swing the left foot slightly off the side of the mat, grounding through the left palm. We'll step the right foot back all the way, and then with a big inhale, open up to the right. So this is a kneeling half moon pose. We'll be revisiting this form later in a standing pose. Big inhale here, reaching up. And stay for the exhale. One more inhale, maybe reaching up just another half inch, big stretch. And exhale to release, coming back to our tabletop. Taking that to the other side now. So right foot off the edge of the mat, left foot steps back all the way and opening up into your twist to the left. Beautiful. You can even think of drawing the top arm back in space. Feel the whole chest opening here. Let's see. There we go. All right. Lovely. And then we'll slowly make our way back into a tabletop. From here, we'll go ahead and tuck the toes under. With an inhale, you're going to lift the knees to hover just maybe about an inch or two off the mat. So you press firmly into the palms. Think about creating some space between the shoulder blades here. Holding here for one breath, and then with the inhale, we'll continue to press all the way up and back, coming into our downward facing dog. So we'll be here for about 5 breaths. So take any movement here that's calling to you. You can shift your hips from side to side, maybe bending one knee and then the other, paddling out the feet, maybe bending both knees deeply, and then pressing up and back, finding a little more length through the back body there. Beautiful. Following the breath. Lovely. And from here, with an inhale, we're going to lift the right leg high to the sky, 3-legged dog. Go ahead and bend the right knee, allow your heel to come towards your hip. And you can begin to open your hips up to the right side of the room here. So we're kind of drawing your knee back in space. The lower body is rotating open to the right, but we're still rooting through both hands, so the whole upper body stays facing the mat. Lovely. And inhale to re-extend the right leg long. With an exhale, we'll step the right foot all the way through between the hands. Left knee lowers down to the mat. Beautiful. And to start, we'll come with the hands up on the thighs. Just finding a nice low lunge here first, maybe checking in with the alignment. We want the knee stacked directly over the ankle. And the toes can be untucked on that back foot here. And then we'll inhale, both arms reach up to the sky. Gaze follows your fingers. Maybe even find a tiny back bend here. If that feels good, you can begin to trace the fingers back a little bit in space. And then coming back through center, keeping the arms lifted, we're going to take the index and thumb of your left hand, circle around the right wrist, and then just pulling that arm up and over. Find a nice side bend here to the left. Lovely. So we want to keep opening the heart. So maybe we were not bending quite as deeply, but we're finding that full rotation of the chest, opening out to the front of the room. And then inhale, coming back up through center. Exhale, we'll plant both feet down. From here, we're going to move into half splits or half Hanuman. So we're going to straighten slowly through that right front leg. This is a great opportunity to reach for the blocks if you have those. You're going to have the blocks on medium height or maybe even on the tallest height. And we want to straighten through the right leg. We're flexing the right toes back towards the face. We're going to inhale first, finding a nice long spine, and then just begin to fold forward only as much as is comfortable. You can get a pretty intense hamstring stretch here without having to come too far. So just finding that edge where there's some resistance, but no discomfort. And then slowly pressing yourself up, rebend into the right knee. Both hands come down. We're going to tuck the back left toes, step the right foot back to meet it in plank. So high plank, option to take it with your knees to the mat or with the knees lifted. So either is great. We'll inhale at the top of the plank. And then with an exhale, bending both elbows close to the body, slowly lower all the way down onto your belly. And once you arrive on your belly, we'll untuck the toes. Hands are beneath the shoulders. And then with an inhale, lifting the chest forward and up, coming into a baby cobra. You can test yourself a little here. Maybe see if you can hover the hands by a ½ inch or so. So the work is all coming from the core. And then exhale, release, lower back down again. Beautiful. From here, we're going to tuck the toes. Press yourselves up to the knees and then hips lift all the way up and back. Downward facing dog. We'll take a big breath here. So big inhale through the nose. Big exhale out through the mouth. The next inhale, this time left leg floats high to the sky. 3-legged dog. And then from here, we'll bend the left knee. Heel floats towards your hip. And both hips opening out to the left side of the room. Think of Pointing your knee up towards the ceiling. Both arms, both shoulders squared off to the mat. Inhale, re-extend the left leg long. And then with an exhale, we'll step the left foot all the way through between your hands. Right knee comes down to the mat. And untucking the back toes. Hands to thigh to press yourselves up. And again, finding that nice position. We want the core is engaged. So think of drawing your belly button back towards your spine. Looking for that nice right angle on the front knee. And then inhale, both arms reaching up, hands to touch. Maybe finding a little back bend here if that felt good. Not straining anything. And then lifting back up through center. We'll take the index and thumb of the right finger this time, or right hand, and take our side bend over to the right. Beautiful. You can think of energetically grounding through your front left heel and your right kneecap. Really kind of find that solid base beneath you here. Let's take one more inhale, reaching over to the side. Exhale, find a little more softness in the stretch. And then inhaling back up through center. Both hands come down to frame the foot. Tuck your right toes. Left foot steps back to meet your right in plank. Beautiful. And we'll stay here for an inhale. And exhale, slowly release all the way to your belly. Untuck your toes. Inhale, pressing up. We can come back up to cobra. If upward dog is part of your practice, maybe continue to extend all the way through both arms. And if we're all the way up in upward dog, maybe pressing the tops of the feet into the mat to lift the knees slightly. And we'll go ahead and release. Let all that go. Belly to the mat, forehead to the mat. Tuck your toes under and begin to press yourselves up and back. Coming back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's stay here for a couple of breaths. So just kind of noticing what's shifting in the body. Noticing if we're feeling a little more heat. Feeling a little bit more limber. A bit more length in the back of the body, perhaps. Lovely. And looking forward between the hands, we're going to walk, step, or hop up to the front of the mat, coming into a deep forward fold. So your feet are parallel and hip width apart. Just letting everything hang loose here. You can reach for opposite elbows if you like. You can have as much of a bend in your knees here as feels good. So it's not about the hamstring stretch as much as the release in the upper body. Maybe shaking your head, yes and no. And then releasing the hands back down to the mat. With an inhale, we're going to slowly roll up, pressing firmly into both feet, all the way up to standing. Head comes up last. And mountain pose, arriving in your mountain. So your shoulders are soft, face is soft, palms facing forward. And then inhale, sweeping both arms all the way up. Hands together to touch, and exhale, hands down to heart center. So one more like that. Inhale, circle sweep the arms, hands touch. This time we'll slice the hands all the way down the midline of the body, coming back into that forward fold. And then with an inhale, lifting up halfway, you can bring your hands to blocks or to your shins or to your knees, finding that nice right angle with the spine. So we're really bending from the hips here. One more inhale and exhale, folding forward, let all that go. Plant your hands on the mat, step it back to plank pose. Hold at the top of your plank just for a moment. And then from here, we're actually going to lift the hips all the way up, continuing straight back into downward facing dog. Do one more big breath here to reset. Big inhale through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Inhale, sweep your right leg high to the sky. Three-legged dog. Exhale, step the right foot through between your hands. This time you can keep that back knee lifted if you like. You can always bring it to the mat for some more stability. Otherwise, we'll keep the knee lifted here. Good option to come up on blocks if you need a little more elevation here. So first, deep lunge. So we want to sort of check in with the base here, make sure everything feels nice and stable. Your two hips are in line, facing forward. And then as you're ready, we'll begin to reach the arms up to the sky, making our way into crescent lunge. We'll be here for a few breaths. So with the inhale, we think of lengthening up. So energizing through the fingertips, reaching for the sky. But at the same time, the arms are soft. So maybe there's a soft bend even in the elbows. The shoulders are soft, sliding down your back. So we're looking for that balance between the effort and the ease. The knees tracking directly with the toes. So noticing if the knees coming slightly in to the center, out to the side, and see if you can draw it back in using the strength in the inner thigh. Lovely. And one more big inhale here. And with the exhale, we're going to slowly transition to warrior two. So warrior two, the left foot comes flat to the mat. Your toes can be pointing either straight to the side wall or slightly towards the front of the room if that feels better in your ankle. Lovely. So the crown of the head is moving back slightly. So we imagine we've got a direct plumb line kind of from the top of the skull all the way down to the base of the spine. With the inhale, we're lifting the heart, lifting the head. And with the exhale, maybe bending a little deeper into the front knee, coming a little lower to the ground, perhaps. Beautiful. Arms are nice and strong. Maybe looking forward over that front finger or to the side of the room, whatever's more comfortable here. With your next inhale, we're going to straighten through the right leg. Right fingertips reach up for the sky, left hand floats back. This is our reverse triangle, or reverse Trikonasana. So imagine this long diagonal line of energy all down that front right side of the body here. From your right tip of your middle finger to the tip of your right big toe. Lovely. One more big inhale here. And then with an exhale, we're going to slowly rebend into the right knee. The right forearm can come to your thigh. We'll make our way into extended side angle. So the left arm reaches for the sky, or even maybe beginning to bring it over to reach towards the front of the room. And then options with your right arm. You can keep that forearm on the thigh, or perhaps even beginning to reach all the way down to the mat. And you can always use a block here to start moving you that direction. Taking a bind as part of your practice, you're welcome to explore that now too. So for the half bind, that top left arm wraps around behind the low back. So the back of your hand is pressing against the low back and maybe even beginning to reach for the front of the hip. Wherever you are, rolling the left shoulder back in space, opening across the heart. If you're binding, we'll go ahead and re-extend the arm now. Reaching forward and up. Lovely. And then from here, we're going to straighten through the front right leg. Once again, arms come back up, and then we'll shift the body weight forward and down, moving into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So lots of options here in triangle. That right hand can be on your shin, can be reaching for a block on the inside of your foot. And you can always play with putting it on the ankle side or the outer ankle side too. Either one is great. It's just whatever works best for your anatomy. So I really encourage you to explore the postures here. It's not a pop into it one and done. We can always wiggle around, take the feet a little further apart or closer together. This is lovely. Just soften back towards me a little bit. Yeah, beautiful. And your gaze can be in any direction here. Maybe it's up towards the top hand, or maybe it's down at the standing foot. Think of energetically squeezing this hip in slightly. Yeah, lovely. Nice stability there. Beautiful. So 2 arms are reaching almost vertical, but you can still soften the shoulder, soften the elbow. Really nice. One more big inhale here. With your exhale, you're going to look down at your front foot. We're going to slowly bend into that knee. And reaching for one of your blocks, we're going to place the block about 12 inches in front of that standing right foot. We're going to make our way into a standing half moon pose here. So coming up on the back left toes to start. And then if you're feeling steady, maybe beginning to lift off with the back left leg. And eventually lifting up with the left arm. This is a tricky balance pose. So again, a good intermediate is keeping that left toe rooted on the mat. And then just beginning to lift off as you find the stability there. So we're opening the whole body up to the left side of the room, almost like you're making a plus sign with your body here. Really nice. One more big inhale, feel the full opening and extension. And then with an exhale, rebending into the standing right knee, left foot comes back down behind you. And we'll make our way back to warrior 2. Lovely. Giving yourself a moment here to feel rooted again, reconnect with the ground, reconnect with your breath. And then with an inhale, we'll straighten through the front leg. We're going to bring the toes in towards each other, heels out slightly, arms lifting up overhead, hands together to touch. We'll reaching up here for the sky, inhale. And then with an exhale, we'll take the arms out wide, slowly folding forward and coming all the way down to our wide-legged forward fold. You can have hands on the block here, or hands perhaps all the way to the mat. Your hands are all the way down, maybe beginning to reach around for the back of your heels. See how that feels. And again, here you can play with the width of your stance. So you're very flexy and your head's on the mat already, maybe beginning to take a slightly narrower stance. You're close, not quite, maybe a little wider. Wherever you are, we're thinking about the heart coming towards the mat rather than the top of the head. Keep that nice length in the spine. And then with an inhale, planting your hands on the floor or the block will come up halfway. And then we're going to walk our hands towards the back of the mat as we bend into the back left knee. Now, you don't have to come all the way down. So full Skandasana is sitting down in the heel, but we can always just come into a bend into the left knee as well. So finding whatever is comfortable here. And if your hips are all the way down to your heel, you want to play with your balance a little bit, maybe beginning to bring one hand, maybe eventually both hands to heart center. Releasing the hands down now. If those are lifted, we'll slowly begin to straighten through the back left knee, walking the hands all the way forward this time, coming towards the front of your mat. And then we'll slowly rotate around. So we come back facing the front. I think you're flipped around, Kelly. You're good. You're on the right side, just backwards. All good. That's great. Coming back to our runner's lunge at the front. Lovely. Plant both hands down. We'll step it back to a plank pose. Knees can be lifted or lowered, inhaling at the top of your plank. Exhale, lower down. We'll take a little vinyasa here. So inhaling up, baby cobra, or maybe all the way to upward dog. Exhale to release. And then we'll press all the way up and back to downward facing dog. We'll do a few more of those vinyasas today, so you'll always have the option to skip it and meet us in down dog and use it as a nice little breather, take a child's pose, or modify in any way at all that you like. And we're going to inhale, take the left leg high to the sky. Exhale, left foot steps through between your hands, coming into your runner's lunge. Maybe finding your blocks here. First deep lunge on this side. So again, giving your body a chance to arrive here, feel what's up. And as you're ready, with an inhale, we'll rise all the way up, coming into crescent lunge. So crescent lunge, we're on the toes of the back right foot. And you can play with the bend in that back knee. So maybe it's just a micro bend, maybe the working towards straightening the back leg, or maybe it's a nice deep bend. And again, the knee can even be down on the mat too. So we're looking for the pose that gives us that sense of stability. With the inhale, lengthening up, exhale, finding softness. One more big breath here. And with an exhale, we'll slowly open out warrior two. So right foot comes flat to the mat. Arms reaching forward and back. A nice deep bend through the front knee here. You can think of energetically pressing your weight against the outer edge of your back foot here. And just see how that feels in the outer thigh. Kind of press down into it. We get some nice activation there. Really nice. Beautiful. So your arms are in a straight line opposite each other. Soften in just a little more here. Yeah, lovely. Beautiful. Beautiful, strong warriors. And then with your next inhale, we'll straighten through the front leg and begin to reach the upper body up and back, coming into reverse Trikonasana, reverse triangle. Imagine you could roll a penny from that top middle finger all the way down the side body, all the way down to your toe. Another big inhale here. Feel the front right ribs expanding, or front left ribs rather, expanding here. And then we'll slowly bend into the left knee, left forearm coming to the thigh. Make your way to extended side angle pose. So again, all the same options with the top arm. We can reach up for the ceiling, or we can make that diagonal by beginning to reach for the front of the room. Maybe we're taking the half bind, wrapping the right arm around the low back. If you're already in the half bind and you want to see what that full bind might feel like, we'll take the left arm, reach that under the front thigh, and eventually maybe the two hands interlace behind your hip there. So rolling the top right shoulder open and back. If you're taking the bind, we'll go ahead and unwind that now. So reaching the right arm forward and up. Lovely. And then slowly straightening through the front leg. We'll take the arms forward and back like warrior two, but with a straight leg. And then reaching forward, making our way into Trikonasana on this side. So if we think about this pose, we're looking for a number of triangles here. So for Trikonasana, we'll keep the back leg grounded for now. There you go. You're ahead of the game. Yeah, beautiful. That's great. Yeah, lovely. So we're looking for the triangle between the standing legs, and we're looking for the triangle as well that's formed between the upper thigh and the torso here as well. So we've got at least two triangles there we're playing with. Lovely. One more big inhale here. And then with an exhale, you can begin to bend into the left knee. We're looking down at the left foot. If you don't need the block, you can go ahead and make your way. Otherwise, we'll bring that block about 12 inches in front of the left foot. Slowly begin to shift the body weight forward. And then maybe beginning to lift off with the back right leg. Eventually, the right arm reaches up to the sky too. So And the full expression of the pose, the whole upper body is facing the right side of the room here. If you're here and you're feeling good, you want to play with your balance, perhaps beginning to play with releasing your weight from the block. Maybe eventually floating that left hand in space. This is our standing half moon. Oop. Beautiful. One more big inhale here. And exhale, bending back through the front knee, arms forward and back. We'll re-land in our warrior two. Beautiful. Using your breath to find some stillness here. Feeling grounded. Lovely. And inhale, reaching up with the left fingertips, reverse warrior. And exhale, we'll cartwheel it down. Planting both hands, stepping your left foot back to meet your right in plank. And we'll take a little vinyasa here if you like. Or you can take a little break in child's pose. That sounds better. Wherever you are, we'll meet in downward facing dog in a few breaths. From your downward facing dog, we're going to inhale, look forward between the hands. You can walk, step, or hop up to the front of the mat. We're going to bend both knees deeply. So we're coming down almost into a squat. So the upper body is almost resting on your thighs here. Inhale, sweep the arms back behind you. You can think of squeezing your pinkies together here, really activate the arms. And then with the next inhale, arms float forward and up, keeping that bend in your knee. We're making our way into chair pose, Utkatasana. So the feet can be hip width apart. You can also play with bringing the big toes together to touch if that gives you a little more stability. With a lot of these poses, there's no right way. It's just the way that feels okay in your body. With the inhale, reaching forward with the arms. Exhale, perhaps sitting back just a little bit deeper. Staying here for one more breath. And then inhale, straighten through the legs, arms reach up. And exhale, release your arms to the side. Beautiful. Do another round of our chair pose. Give you a different couple of variations to play with. So inhale, arms reach up this time. Exhale, sitting back into your chair. Beautiful. This time with an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms back, but come up on the tippy toes, lifting up with the heels. Lovely. And then inhale, reaching forward again, heels down. Exhale, arms sweep back, heels lift. Inhale, lower down, reaching up. One more exhale, sweep back, heels lift, pressing the tops of your feet forward. Exhale, release the heels down, reaching forward. And then straighten through the legs. You bring your upper body all the way forward and down. Forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, release it down. Inhale, arms come out to the side, reverse swan dive all the way up to standing, drawing your hands together to touch. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll return to our Garuda Mudra just for a moment here. So we'll bring the left hand just in front of the heart. Right hand comes up behind it, thumb to thumb. Inhale here as you draw your hands to your heart, maybe even closing your eyes for a moment if you like. And then exhale, release, let that go. Take it over to the other side. So right hand floats up. Left hand comes up behind it, thumb to thumb. Big inhale here, draw your hands to your heart. And exhale, release as you're ready. Beautiful. Inhale, both arms reach up, hands together. This time, exhale, take the arms out wide, big swan dive forward, all the way down. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, release. Plant your hands, step it back to plank pose. Into our high plank. Option to lower the knees down. Let's stay here for 3 breaths this time. So big inhale, Belly draws in towards the spine, pressing the mat away. Another inhale here, pressing back through the heels, even energizing through the kneecaps if your knees are lifted. One more inhale. And then with the exhale, lowering all the way down onto your belly. Beautiful. From here, we're going to reach the arms forward. You can come palm to palm. With the next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up, left arm up. Stretch and lift. And release, let that go. Take to the other side, right arm, left leg, lift up. And exhale, release it down. This time with an inhale, we're going to lift both legs, both arms. So this is our full locust pose. Extending through the fingers. And think of rotating your inner thighs up towards the ceiling. One more big inhale, lift everything up. And exhale, release, let it go. And flip the palms to be face up. Release your forehead to the mat. This is our full prostration pose here. Letting yourself be held by the mat. Held by the earth beneath you. And then bringing the hands back to below your shoulders. We're going to press ourselves up through tabletop and then back to Balasana or Child's Pose. So yogi's choice here. You can either take your wide-legged Child's Pose with knees apart or with the knees together. Arms can be reaching forward for the front of your mat, or perhaps the arms come alongside your body, reaching back for your heels. So play with those different options here. Beautiful. We're looking for a lengthening through the back body, but also a full relaxation, full letting go here too. Following your breath in and out of the body. Maybe noticing as your belly fills with the inhale, the pressure that's created there between your belly and the thighs. And then the softness, that kind of space that's created as the breath leaves the body. And then you can slowly begin to walk yourself back up to a seated position, sitting back on the heels. Lovely. And from here, we're going to swing the legs around front, hips about halfway down the mat, and your feet are going to be flat to the mat in front of you. You can tuck your fingers behind your knees. And then we're going to come up onto the tippy toes, lifting up with the heart. So imagine you could draw your heart forward and up here. And then we're sitting back just to that point where you feel the core engage. Just feeling nice and solid here. And then if you're feeling good, maybe see how it feels to float the legs up. If that's feeling pretty solid, you can even release the hands to be face up. Stay here for one more inhale. One more exhale. We're going to cross the left ankle over the right, drawing the toes back down to the mat. You're going to press both hands to either side of your hips. And you're just going to press in to lift up off the hips just by about an inch or two, hovering here. And then we'll release, let that go, uncross the legs, lifting up with the toes again. Staying here for one inhale, one exhale. Taking that to the other side, right ankle on top of left, toes come down. You can also place your blocks here as well. It's another way to get a little more height as you lift up. So this is really an arm strengthening right here. And then release, let that go. Uncross the legs, arms reach forward, legs reach forward. One inhale here, one exhale, and release, let that go. can tuck your fingers behind your knees. We'll roll all the way down onto our backs now. And you can bring the heels in close to the body, hip width apart. We're going to make our way into bridge pose. So your arms are long alongside your body. As you're ready, with an inhale, pressing into the feet, beginning to lift up with the hips. Rolling your weight back towards your shoulders, maybe rolling your shoulders a little bit towards each other under your body. And perhaps even finding a clasped hand grip under your low back here. If you have the clasped hands, you can think of pressing your knuckles towards your heels. And then really pressing firmly into the feet here, squeezing the glutes as you lift the hips up, maybe 1 or 2 more inches. And then we'll slowly release that, releasing the grip if you have it, releasing the shoulders, and then low back, mid back, everything releasing down to the mat. Lovely. And we're going to go ahead and take another round of bridge. So actually, before we do that, let's walk the feet out to the width of the mat. You can allow the knees to fall in towards each other here. And if you like, maybe windshield wiper the knees one side to the other, little release. And then now we'll come back for a second round of bridge. If wheel pose is part of your practice and you know where you're going, you're welcome to move into wheel pose now. Otherwise, we'll take another round of bridge. So arms alongside the body, pressing into both feet. And feet hip width apart with an inhale, lifting up with the hips. Coming back onto the shoulders, the back of the neck. And then maybe finding that interlaced grip under the body. And perhaps taking the opposite grip this time. So putting the other thumb on top is probably the one that feels a little awkward. Probably. Pressing into the feet. Almost imagine you could press your shins forward to the front of the room. Let's see if we can lift everything up 1 more inch. And then we'll slowly let that go. Release the hands, release the shoulders, and then rolling the whole spine down onto the mat. Once again, we'll walk the feet out to the width of the mat, knees falling in. And then maybe allowing the knees to move side to side. And the knees come back in through center. We're going to keep the right foot planted on the mat. Bring your left ankle to cross over your right knee, making this figure 4 shape with the legs. You have the figure 4. You can go ahead and begin to reach around the back of your right thigh, finding an interlaced grip there, and begin to draw the thigh close into the body. So this is a seated version of our pigeon pose or supine pigeon. You can flex the left foot to help protect the left knee joint here. And you can keep your right knee bent, or if you like, maybe play around with beginning to extend the right leg long and press your right heel up towards the ceiling. See how that might change the stretch a little. And then rebending the right knee, that's lifted, allowing your right heel to come back down to the mat. Keeping your left ankle where it is. I'm just going to offer this as a variation on our supine twist. We'll see how it feels. If you don't like it, you can always uncross. Otherwise, what we're going to do, we're going to allow the whole lower body to roll over to the right now. So your left foot is actually going to come down onto the right side of your mat here. So both shoulders are rooted in the mat, and that whole lower body is twisting around. And if you don't like the crisscross version, you can always uncross the legs here too and find a twist that feels good. And then we'll slowly begin to make our way back through center. And back. Both feet release down onto the mat. We'll take that to the other side. So first grounding through the left foot, then right ankle crosses over left knee, and maybe beginning to reach through and find that stretch. You can use your right elbow to press against the inside of your left knee if you like, finding a deeper hip opener there. So keeping the tailbone nice and grounded into the mat. And if you played with extending the leg on the other side and want to do that now, maybe pressing your heel up towards the ceiling. And then we'll rebend the extended leg and then slowly let the left foot come down to the mat. And then we're going to twist the low body over to the left this time. So the right foot is going to come down onto the mat, finding that twisted supine twist, double twist there. Anyway, finding a twist that feels good. Whatever version of the twist you're in here, we can find a nice sort of opposition or extension from the grounded shoulder here, all the way to the knee on the opposite side of the body. So that's kind of the opposition we're looking for in the stretch there. And stay here for one more breath. You see if there's any last bit of tension there that we can just blow out with the exhale. Let that go. And then we'll slowly bring both knees back in through center. And extending the legs long. Maybe taking one final full body stretch. That's calling to you, reaching the arms up overhead. And then we'll make our way into Shavasana. So reaching for any props, anything you need here to be comfortable. Once you arrive in your Shavasana, let's take one more full breath in. Slow exhale. And then just let it all go. Slowly begin to bring some awareness back into the body. Starting by noticing the next breath. Maybe bringing a little bit of movement into your hands and feet, fingers and toes, maybe circling the wrists or the ankles. That feels good. And as you're ready, we'll slowly make our way back up to the seated position. No rush getting here. And we'll meet just how we started. Seated position in front of the mat. Let's take one final breath together. So big, deep inhale through the nose. Big, soft sigh. And open your eyes and bring hands to heart center. And we'll close with namaste. Namaste. Thank you guys for sharing your practice, your energy with me this evening. Again, my name is Meredith. I usually teach this one, and I also have a Friday at 5:30 class, and I'm going to be subbing a class for Lauren this week on Thursdays as well. So another one. I also have an email sign-up sheet here as well. I send out some reminders just for my teaching schedule. Also, if we have any events coming up, anything like that. So if you'd like to hear more from me, you can pop your email here. And otherwise, wishing you guys a lovely evening. Great to see you all. Thank you. Thanks. Set this right here. And thanks to friends on Zoom. Good to see you guys. And if you haven't, give me your contact info and you'd like to get on that sheet, you can always pop it in the chat there. Laura and Teresa, I know I already have you guys, so you should be hearing from me very soon. Okay. And Linda, I'm sorry I was late to let you in there, but I'm glad you caught us. So, and yeah, good to see you too, Christine. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great evening.